Greetings everyone, please give me a moment to make sure everything's set on up. Looks like everything's starting to boot on up. I'm going to activate the live chat windows. Live chat windows are good. Time to turn on the macros. And that's good. Give me another moment to check my other computer. And looks like everything's good to go. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawning south side as the orange star Kindle, we got Rebe Maw. So probably butchered that name well enough. Spawning north side as a Silver Claw Andy, we got Ultimate 69. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Anyway, let's get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, no seaports, Paracon towers in the center, which are contestable. So if you lose one, you'll probably already lost the game. Recon deployed in the field by Kindle. Plenty of properties for her to use. 29 property capture limit, or capture victory. So I think it's maybe a good map for high society as a possibility at least. Something to keep in mind. Andy has gone for a tank. And we do now have a Kindle tank now on the field. Recon reconnoitering the area. Does see this infantry unit there. Doesn't see the one in the forest. May have saw it enter, but not like it can do much there. Can probably interrupt this capture down south. Oh, the recon did not push forward. So it's just on the recon. Does get trapped there, so maybe that was his plan. Rather than interrupt the capture, he's just going to interrupt the capture, I think. We do now have artillery deployed in the field. Tank infantry. It's an infantry very nicely with a booster strike. How reliable is that to get? It is, of course, Kindle, so plus 40% firepower. Looks like was not going to be a one-shot. Rolled above average on the roll. More like average. Below it was a greater 50-50 chance for her to get 9 damage to 8 damage, so yeah, not above average. It was average, if not at least at a roll below average, and still be fine. Do now have a battle copter pull in the field. Tank did advance forward, of course, was spotted in his advance. Does get trapped by infantry unit there, or by the tank there. Sometimes we may see a tank from this base next turn. Yep, we will. Anti-air infantry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the tank can reach the forest, cannot reach that tank there. It's the recon for quite a bit of damage. However, I always like to call Kindle as retaliation CO, because now this recon can pull back, tank can push forward, get on top of the city, and get a booster strike on the closing tank, nearly one-shotting it. Tank. It's probably would be down to 3 to 2 health. Oh, completely surrounds the tank. However, can be broken off if he does interrupt his own capture there. Recon takes a strike up against infantry there, and booster strike, oh, puts down to 1 health. Very nice. And interrupts the capture as well. Of course, we've got an early battle copter here. Here is on the field, but a little bit lagging behind. Battle copter gets a good shot there. Infantry, battlecopter, infantry, and mech. Recon getting down to minimal health. Tank hits infantry. Looks like she is not going to be concerned about the battlecopter for the meantime. Too many targets for the battlecopter to hold back. Tank does get a good strike there on that tank. Of course, it is on P3's our property. And Kindle does not have a comm tower yet. Well, nah. Andy, blah, does. I was trying to say adder for some odd reason. Tank, and infantry. Hits the infantry unit there, hits that infantry unit there, and that one as well. Battlecopter hits the tank and hits it twice. Not next to a property. We'll capture this property there. This anti-air is in range of the battlecopter. And India ends turn of 64,000. Kittle starts turn of 65 or 84 for 65. So she's about a full turn behind. Though battlecopter strike there. Does pop Urban Blight, interrupts a capture. Gets a good hit on the medium tank they got freshly deployed on the field. And captures the column tower. Maybe able to get to it. Battlecopter can't swing around. Will have to be double tap on these infantry units. And maybe the battlecopter won't finish the hit the 6 infantry. Maybe the 6 infantry should have been parked on top of the mountaintop if possible. That may have been not possible though. But it could. It all need extra defense to guarantee the secure. Force Kendall does have plus 10% defense this turn, and in range of artillery piece there. Anti-air, and infantry. Andy can pull a hyper repair this turn, which, let's see. Not super important right now this turn. Interrupts a capture, gets a good shot there on that tank. And then mech does finish off the infantry unit there. You definitely should have swapped those units. The 6 infantry unit on the mountaintop side probably would have survived. Actually, let's take a quick look at that. 9 health, it would have received 30 to 40, but it was at 6 health. And it would have survived the hit. Or likely depends what the percentage health was. So, maybe a bit of misplay there by Kindle. She could have gotten it. Infantry, artillery, and mech. 75,000, 69,000, still pretty even with each other. Tank is good strike there on the tank. Looks like no good strike on this tank. Does hit that tank there. Infantry unit takes out that unit. And do now full hyper upgrade, which will heal a good number of infantry units. So that's about it so far. Maybe Andy can charge for, get some shots, receive some damage, then repair it up. Which could be with a hyper repair, not necessarily with a hyper upgrade. Of course, hyper upgrade does also give +1 movement range and 10% firepower, and does pop a super, which also heal the 6 health tank, or 1 health tank to 6 health. Interrupts the capture, so Annie will maintain the 1 comm tower capture. Urban Blight could be particularly effective against that medium tank. Pulls back a bunch of units. Does sack a tank there. Does not take out that tank. Does get some hits there. However, the artillery is in range of the anti-air, and that could allow the battlecopter free reign. But there's another anti-air over here. This game's going quite well for Andy so far. It's the infantry capturing the comm tower instead. I understand the appeal, but maybe better just go straight for the anti-air. Mech, infantry, medium tank. Does strike the artillery, hits the infantry unit capturing up the comm tower, takes out that artillery. Another 1 health tank, pulling it back for the hyper upgrade would be a good idea. Don't have to necessarily set it on top of city, get some passive repairs, though 1 to 2 turns on it wouldn't be half bad. Anti-air, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Anti-air will strike the battlecopter. Tank hits tank. Battlecopter hits infantry. Do have anti-air will here, but out of range of the battlecopter. Picks off some wounded units. Trying to go for the column tower once again. Battlecopter, tank, double infantry. Mech does get a good strike there onto the tank and does hit the other tank as well. Medium tank strikes regular tank. Kindle does have a high society available. Pops a superpower. Has 22 properties, so plus 66% firepower globally, which is pretty good. Not to mention plus 130% while attacking from urbanized property. I wonder how strong that is. Battlecopter versus medium tank. Yeah, good amount of damage, but nothing too crazy since it's not on top of a property. Tank hits tank. Tank hits anti-air. Using the global effects quite nicely. May want to finish off that 2-off tank if possible. Anti-air does take out the medium tank. Ooh. How much firepower was that? I like seeing big numbers. 4 defense stars by half health? I have no idea. An easy one-shot at least. Or finish off, I should say. Does not take out that tank there, so the tank will be at 6 health next turn. Not to mention another 6 health tank here that can be repaired on up. Mech is a good strike there, but the retaliation damage from the increased firepower is painful. Up to 92. Tank will strike regular tank. Medium tank will finish off regular tank. Mech gets a good strike there in the interior, thanks to possible movement range. Infantry, and Neo tank. Capturing some properties. Hit the infantry unit there. Hit the anti-air twice and thrice. Interrupts the capture. Right now it's 22 versus 20,000, so pretty even. Though Andy does, of course, have a slight advantage. Finish some outlying units off up here. Try and capture the properties. Left threading 2. I see one potential interrupt. The other one will likely get captured. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. It's a good shot on that tank. 10 capture progress remaining. It's good hit there. T-copter down on 7 fuel, so it's actually battery follow sky. It's going to charge forward and have 1 drop off. It's out of range of the airport, so the T-copter is going to get shot out of the sky. Just a boost there. Not shot out of the sky, falls out of the sky due to the lack of fuel. Medium tank gets struck twice, make that thrice, and is also surrounded, but of course there's a Neo tank nearby and a 5 health infantry is not like a great wall. Neo tank needs to make sure not to park on top of a city, because the urban blight will be particularly useful. Looks like Kindle's just going to ignore the Neo tank for now. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Medium tank does interrupt the capture, knocks out the infantry unit capturing that property, or column tower, takes out the 2 elf tank while at it. Get some good hits there. Battlecopters are still ruffling about, but there's now multiple anti-airs advancing. Anti-air in range of this battlecopter can get a nice plus 40% firepower, increasing damage received to probably like 160%. Nope, no boost strike there for good numbers. Urban Blight now popped. Does not hit the Neo tank. Hits anti-air, a APC next to the T-copter, a tank, and an infantry unit there. Interrupts this capture as well, so not two particular great ones. All going to come down to the urban attacks, I would say. Does spot the tank. A little bit too late though. Ooh, pretty good strike there. Able to get a boosted strike onto it. And the medium tank does go down. Does get trapped there. Hits the infantry unit in retaliation. Recon, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Anti-air here. I think we'll be in range of one of the battlecopters. Yep, we'll be in range of 9 health one. 2 battlecopters will be shot down this turn. And he's pretty close to hyper upgrade. If he pops hyper upgrade, he can. Nope, that one has 10 capture progress remaining. Does hit the or anti-air there. Pops hyper upgrade. Half the turn is used. Of course, a lot of units can get plus movement range to help capture that property. That one as well. Stops that capture as well. 22 versus 20,000 the most, so Kindle does have ever so slight advantage. Interrupts the capture. Interrupts this capture. Does take out that tank. Interrupts that capture as well. Looks like all the captures have been interrupted. Artillery, battlecopter, and infantry. Good shot in the battlecopter. Neotank takes out a unit. So this medium tank's next to a property, so there could be a booster strike there. A boosted booster strike of Urban Blight. It'll have to be from this tank though. Could perhaps sack this unit and then get another booster strike there. Recon stops the capture. Anti-air hits that unit as well. Boost striking that tank, one-shotting it. Finish off the anti-air while at it. We'll get a boost striking this tank. Medium tank. Knocked its half of its health down. Medium tank double infantry. Neo tank does strike the regular tank. Tanks are getting knocked out. So right now, Kindle's gonna have a bit of trouble there. Have to rely on the medium tank to get a first strike on the Neo tank likely. This medium tank can't push too far forward. Have to stop in the city or move into this forest up here. She can always move the artillery up into one tile, then have the medium tank behind it. Upon this forest there makes a pretty good defense point since you need an infantry unit on top of the mountain to see into it and then fire upon it. Double tap on that artillery. That medium tank's too far forward. He knows what this Neo tank ended this turn, so it's in range of the medium tank. And it's pretty easy to spot. Does take a battlecopter. Was that a misclick? That had to have been a... Oh wait, no, there's a anti-air right there. Not necessarily a misclick. Could have been, and then was able to recover, but still. Oh, Neo tank gets trapped by the artillery. Does spot the medium tank. Ooh. I just realized Neo tank is next to this property, and he can't occupy it. There's going to be a pretty good hit on this Neo tank. There goes the Neo tank. Gets struck by a battlecopter while at it. If the anti-air push forward hits the battlecopter, it's supposed to still be in range. No, it'll be in range of the artillery. Which won't be a great trade, but still, Kindle knocked out Neo tank with its help. That may be what got Kindle back in this game. Felt like Andy's been in a strong point this entire game, but Kindle effectively took out that Neo tank for free right there. Granted, Neo tank has got a lot of work done this game, but now we'll get a booster strike from artillery piece. And maybe a super boosted with an urban. No, should I say power boosted? Not super. One of these anti-airs could be struck. This medium tank could be struck by a regular tank with a Urban Blight boosted strike. Going for the Calm Tower. Feels like Urban Blight's going to be particularly useful right now. And we've got anti-airs here, so the artillery can strike this one while the regular tank can strike this one, or the medium tank can strike that one. There's a lot of work can be done over here. Let's see how Kindle plays it. Some stuff is in fog of war. Does take it out with the medium tank. Spots the anti-airs, and this maybe one shot there. Artillery gets a good strike there. Finish it off. Urban Blight interrupts the catch of the comm tower. Booster strike onto the anti-air. Battlecopter. Booster strike on the anti-air. Anti-air infantry. Medium tank will strike the regular tank, but in range of artillery piece. Both of these in range of artillery piece. Oh, Andy's gone for a bomber. I didn't pay attention to that, so that Urban Blight was particularly good. Probably the best Urban Blight she popped this game. Anti-air, and infantry. Oh, artillery falls back. Decides not to take a shot there. I think that would have been worth it to take a shot. Probably would lose the artillery, but still. But now that the artillery is tough HQ, and one of those medium tanks could easily run into the tank, or take a shot against the tank. Decides not to. It looks like he thinks there's a maybe artillery piece or a rocket there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. In range of a rocket piece that would be there. Maybe. I can't say exact movement. Just probably just trying to keep this mech alive. Good shots, takes out that medium tank. Andy right now is at 22,000 income versus 20,000 income. Catching more of these properties like this, excuse me, is definitely cause an issue. And having an artillery piece trapped by a mech is not great. Battlecopter, anti-air, double infantry. Bomber nukes the medium tank. Anti-air is in range. Rocket, battlecopter, infantry, and anti-air. And serve 141. Kindle starts turn 107. She's pretty far behind. Pops Urban Blight, which strikes a good number of units to the back line. And a mech there. Boost striking the infantry unit there. Does not one shot. I think so it's terrain. Takes out the bomber though. Boost striking the mech does not take it out though. Does get a good shot on the battlecopter. Hits the anti-air. And in one of these medium tanks is now in range of an artillery piece. And start 122, Kindle starts turn 105. Does take out the mech there, does get trapped. I think it's a good shot there. Medium tank is obviously another good shot. Battlecopter, double infantry, another artillery. You have now a superpower by Andy. Don't think got too much repairs. It's our regular tank there. Does take out that anti-air from with a artillery piece that's boosted from a property. Takes out the anti-air. Good boost strikes it on that mech, knocking it out. Does get some great shots there on the artillery, knocking it out with a mech and artillery. Trying to capture that same property as well. There's a Kindle starting to lose a grasp on the game. 138 versus 99. Boost strike there on the anti-air. Boost strike onto the battlecopter. A lot of boost strikes there. Interesting capture. Right now, there's a lot of issues with these units nearby. Takes out the artillery. And nothing stopped the tank there. Will not be able to interrupt the capture any further. Infantry, 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 and fighter, but Kindle does not have a bomber in the field. Takes out the medium tank. Good shots there. Battlecopter tank and double infantry. Oh, Andy has resigned. I think that may have been a little bit too early for Andy to resign. I guess maybe the fighter was definitely wrong call. If you subtract the value of the fighter, Kindle does have, I don't know, their advantage, their differences were pretty even. So yeah, I think the fighter was definitely wrong call, but still, it could still have gone either way. Just based on what we've seen here, though he does lack a lot of units, so not sure exactly. This is Angrade saying, "Think watching," and on to next replay. There's the replay. Delete. Let's go with this one. It's another Kindle versus Andy. Let's go with a different one. This should work fine. Oh, I don't have to adjust the map size and all that sort. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here of another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the north side as the Amber Blossom Olaf. We got Oliver Cromwell. Spawn on the bottom left side is the Silver Claw Von Bolt. We got Ulted 69. So let's get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, technically 2 airports, handful of seaports, they're not important, and a handful of black boats, which are useful. Now let's take a shot against that pipe scene. Another recon by Olaf, so far it's gotten double recon now. And looks like Von Bolt goes for his own recon. And right now Olaf does 7,000 income, so he can default another recon this turn, but decides not to. Saving 4,000 monies. So he could probably go for Battlecopter next turn if he so chooses. Got a tank by Von Bolt. Does take a strike there on the pipe scene. Got a rig or APC up north by Von Bolt. That's interesting. Maybe trying to eye for some transports. Von Bolt does now have a battlecopter on the field. Does get a good shot there. Another tank by Von Bolt. Does take some more shots against the pipe scene with the infantry unit here. And the black boat there is looking low on fuel, 16 fuel. There's a couple shots up north. Bombo could take another shot against that recon there, but it's equal going nowhere. Does pull back that recon there and get it better repaired. Pipe Scene's down to 94 health. And Tank does finish off that recon. Does hit this infantry unit twice, preventing a capture next turn. Though he could try to join capture the 7 and 3 health one, and then take out the 5 and 6 health infantry with nearby battlecopter, tank, and other things of the sort. Tank, T-copter, and another infantry unit there. Gets some good shots there, takes out the infantry unit there. He drops this capture and fully stops the capture of that column tower, so Olaf has 1 column tower, while Von Bolt has 0. Though we do have a tank nearby to retaliate against the other tank, with a nearby black boat, can probably get on top of the column tower here. Take a shot, then get repaired up by the black boat. Recon on recon. Infantry hits the recon. Infantry also hits the recon. Battlecopter hits the tank there, and we'll finish off the other tank. Infantry ain't here, ain't here. Those get some good shots there. Tank, infantry, and commits a base skip here. Goes another battlecopter though. But he did have 1,000 funds for another infantry unit there, so he purposely chooses not another infantry. Do now have, oh, plus the black boat may sunk itself as well as not sunk itself because it probably was down to 1 fuel. You have a mech, artillery, and medium tank by Von Bolt. Another recon tank and commits another base skip. Howdy. Take a thumbs up, I guess you mean like. Right now I can see... No, I don't think I can see the number of thumbs up from the setting I have on my other screen, but not really too concerned about that at the moment. Alright, get some sleep. Have a good night. So I don't have any bedtime stories to read you. Have you heard about the one about the ugly duckling? We have now Winter Fury Core summoned immediately when he got available. Gets a good shot there on the tank. A nice bit of global damage. Right now they're both at 109. So they're still pretty even. Takes another shot against the pipe scene. That pipe scene has been punished miserably for the last 9 turns. Battlecopter commits another base skip. Infantry in anti-air. At this point in time, I think he's just ignoring this base. What was the bedtime story that Patrick said to SpongeBob? Once upon a time, there was an ugly barnacle that was so ugly that everyone died. The end. SpongeBob references never go old with me. Well, it looks like this mech is down to 1 ammo. He may down to 15% health. I wonder if the 8 health mech can finish off a pipe scene. Once again, another shot into this poor defenseless pipe scene. Tank does take a good hit there. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Von Bolt's pretty close to his Ex Machina. Takes out 8 battlecopter there. I'm not sure exactly where Ex Machina will land. Would it hit the 2 black boats? Would it strike right there? Might strike black boat and battlecopter? I have no idea where our Ex Machina would land. Actually, it could strike right there, hit the anti-air, tank, and black boat. So yeah, that's probably going to strike right there if he does cast this. Excuse me, cast this turn. That looks like a good shot for Ex Machina. We have a tank here to hit the anti-air or the tank. Does take the pipe scene with a regular infantry in there. Ex Machina has been fired. I have a strong feeling it struck this black boat directly or this battlecopter directly. Since we don't see it on the map where it landed, I'm guessing struck... Could have struck right there. Yeah, it probably struck right here, locking down all these units. Guess we'll find out next turn. We can't see anything until it gets his turn, since how the replay viewer is a little bit bugged out like that. Mech, infantry, and medium tank looks like did strike right there. Knocking that entire formation. Can't tell you if that's a good or bad plan. Does hit the medium tank with another nearby anti-air to take it out. Volvo did end the turn for 167. Olaf now ends his turn with 149. So Volvo's about 2 turns ahead. Has pretty course passability of +10/+10. Anti-air, battlecopter, infantry, and probably another infantry. Though he does have 6,900, 6,800. Get some great shots up north. A bit of a clean sweep up north by Von Bolt. Does go for another infantry in there. Battlecopter strikes the, or anti-air strikes the battlecopter. We almost see enough for another Winter Fury. Pipe scene has been machine gunned once again, 12 times. Winter Fury has been summoned. So some of these units are down to 1% health like this anti-air. Only a battlecopter nearby to hit these battlecopters, but thanks to the winter, it cannot range them. There's another battlecopter here, hits this tank there as well. Anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. In turn with 135, so Von Bolt starts 136, and with bases full day funds, or a good chunk of it, so he's about a full turn ahead. Makes a good progress up north once again. Does join capture there, 8 capture progress remaining. Out that tank there. Another anti-air, and infantry. Right now, also 42 units versus 28. So Von Bolt's doing a good job to keep his unit preservation alive. Of course, Olaf did a lot of base skips. Battlecopter, rocket, and infantry. Hits that anti-air twice. Doesn't have any battlecopters up north, but we'll check another tank there. Olaf does have battlecopter up north, but and Von Bolt does have anti-air nearby. His Ex Machina is about 30,000 funds away from being activated. More like 29,000. Which, of course, is much closer to the next Winter Fury, which is about another 50,000. Does get some good damage on that medium tank. And puts a anti-air in range the artillery. We'll check the artillery, though, with another battlecopter. We do have also an anti-air in range of a battlecopter, so there's a good chance for Ex Machina next turn. Hard to say exactly where it lands. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Next Machina would likely strike this forest or this tile right here to the rocket and the tank. Makes a good pick down south. Takes out the battlecopter, takes out both battlecopters, strikes the anti-air for a bit of damage while at it. Takes out a little bit of everything. Ex Machina has been landed. Let's extract this black boat directly, not the rocket. Which also means the anti-air will not be pushing forward. This is where the stun effect is going to be very useful to allow the battlecopter to push forward another turn with impunity. Tank, APC, and infantry. Tank, anti-air, and battlecopter. Does clean up a good number of units there. Hits the black boat. Infantry, infantry, and infantry. Oh, got a Winter Fury immediately summoned. Calling Von Bolt's force on 130 versus 113. Next Winter Fury costs 100,000. Next Ex Machina is 126. So they're probably going to be pretty close to being synced up this time around. Olaf's cheaper superpowers become it's been very important so far this game. Oop, Recon gets trapped there. Battlecopter doesn't really have too many targets due to the snow being so slow. Bit of repairs there. Anti-air will strike the tank, hits the infantry unit there. And Vulnerable can start eyeing to going towards his HQ. Battleship could cover the HQ if needed, but that would be expensive costs at least. You have now Mega Tank to put on the field. I don't think it's a good idea. It's going to take forever to get the front line. Neo tanks would be nice. Medium tanks would be two medium tanks would probably be a bit better. We'll be able to help push more on both flanks, or on one flank. But the Mega tank's going to be drastic overkill. It's going to take forever to get to the front line. And the winters would still be a better problem, though they are quite expensive now. Got artillery, anti-air, and recon. Problem is, this pipe seam needs to be destroyed before he can get these artillery forces. He does not have a land in this region, so he's probably going to start shelling it twice per turn, that pipe seam. Does hit the medium tank there. Medium tank does strike medium tank. Anti-air does find the rocket there. Yeah, this map's probably a little bit too wide open for a rocket, and Olaf has surrendered. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get to our next replay, do you need to use the restroom? Please give me a moment. My apologies. We'll keep the lid open. And move it over here. So, let's go ahead and get started. Next replay. This one is that one. Let's see. Here we can do Andy versus Rachel. It's been a while since last did Rachel. And oh, it looks like another map the same size. And again, I think that was this is the same map as was beforehand from the map before. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn south side is the Orange Star A&D. We got Zliz, I think. Spawn north side is the Blue Moon Rachel. We have a foreign name. So let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. There's also a pair of conference towers in the center, but likely they're not really contestable. You still have to protect them though. We do have an early APC deployed by Andy, that's interesting. And Rachel does go for a tank. Triple infantry there. Another tank deployed out by Rachel. Andy is figuring out what an airport is, and the recon is reconnoitering over to the right. Another recon by Andy there. Maybe a little bit too late for a second recon. We do have a tank up here as well, but he is perfectly spending his income. Got double recon by Rachel this time. That's interesting. Recon reconnoitering forward. I think he saw this tank there. Definitely saw the tank advance to the woods. Battlecopter, pair of or triple infantry. Be a good idea for Andy to get out his own battlecopter or an anti-air. After all, I've been told you want to get anti-air out no later than turn 10. We do have a now anti-air there by Andy. Of course, have to guess which way the battlecopter is going to go, if there is even one on the field. In this case, there is. Takes the recon, does increase down to 1 health, probably close to 1% health. Medium tank and double infantry. Tank will find the recon, puts a good round into it. Decides to counterattack there. 4 health versus 4 health. Recon likely finish off next turn. Capture the city in the corner. Andy, of course, can interrupt this capture. And probably the best thing that it can do at the moment. Got a pair of tanks there. Does get a good strike on the tank, however, there's another tank nearby for a bit of retaliation. Andy could just keep this tank back and let it get healed up by repairs and hyper upgrade. Battlecopter, recon, and tank. Yeah, I guess Andy can repair up the damage from the covering fire, or she could start going for Lucky Lass. What was it? Lucky Lass increased luck by, was it like 20%, or is it something as little as 15? Can't remember. Give me a moment. Let's see. Improves it to 0 to 39, so increase her luck by 30%. Or up to 30%. I'm just gonna call it 30%. Maybe she's gonna try that. Maybe she wants to, the player really wants to use this day-to-day pass of +1 health repair. It is actually a decent ability. It actually makes day-to-day repairs actually pretty useful. Or much more useful. But it's hard to say. Battlecopter, infantry, and anti-air. Right now, 20,000 versus 19,000 income, so still pretty even. And we know that was also a relatively bad move, because now the artillery is in range of the medium tank. Does a good strike there, hits these units here. Hyper repair could top off this health up to 5 to hit the battlecopter. If he gets somehow squeeze a hyper upgrade this turn, then he could perhaps take out the battlecopter this turn. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Blah. APC down to 20 fuel. He might be able to squeeze out. No, probably best not use hyper upgrade until after covering fire. No. He popped hyper repair? Of course, he can go for another hyper repair next turn. If he manages to somehow spread out the missile silo damage across multiple units, another hyper repair can be used to help counter the covering fire, but that's very interesting. Of course, like I said, it would top off the help of this anti-air. Gets a good shot there. Covering fire is available, which will fire 3 missiles, 1 against 8. Let's see. There's the... Well, let me just read the exact order verbatim. 3 two-range missiles, 3 damage. The missile will target the greatest accumulation of foot soldier, unit value, and then HP value in the order. So the foot soldier one will likely land here. The value one will likely land right here. And HP value probably would land around here. Could land up here. Guys, we'll find out. Nothing up here. I think it may have struck here and here twice, but that's just a guess at this point. Another hyper repair is going to be very needed. Double taps infantry unit there. Tank. Oh, yep. I think I guessed relatively accurately. This one only got struck once. So somehow this only got struck once rather than twice. While these infantry units here, it looks like one landed here. One... Let's see, one landed here. Another one landed here. And another one right here. So this is the value, this is infantry, and this is accumulation of health? I don't know why accumulation health landed right there. There's a lot of other targets that could have struck. Alrighty then. That one made no sense to that accumulation health made no sense to me because this would have been another prime target right there. Not near enough for a hyper repair. Tank, infantry, anti-air. Yeah. Once I realized no way to cover, wait for covering fire, yeah, hyper repair or hyper upgrade, he didn't even have either for that turn. Like, popping up a hyper repair this turn would have also been nice, but he didn't. Couldn't. I mean, Rachel just got a good superpower, very little retaliation. Actually, near to 0 retaliation at this point. Another hyper repair can be popped, which may be needed, but it'd be a really bad idea to get this. It's already too desynced between these two superpowers. You can't be desyncing a superpower from Rachel's covering fire. Rachel in turn of 108, Andy has 85, so it looks like Rachel has a full turn advantage. Takes out Battlecopter, hits infantry unit there. Battlecopter gets a good shot up there. Neo-tank, infantry. The extra day-to-day repair was used for some of these units, topping them off pretty quickly. Of course, it was expensive, but those can help maintain forward momentum. Infantry, anti-air infantry. Anti-air will take out the battlecopter. Get some good damage across the front line. It's various infantry. Went from 95 to 119, so that's a pretty good repair. But half its turns already used, and the nice thing about anti-super is also +1 movement range. And I mentioned 10% firepower. Takes a couple more units. That +1 movement range was useful there. Hits the medium tank. Medium tank's actually a little bit now cut off. No anti-airs nearby to help support it. So Rachel's southern flank is pretty bad, but she's going to get another covering fire with little retaliation, which probably will strike the Neo tank. Because it's going well enough for Andy at the moment. Does get a good pin there. Superpower there. Looks like it struck down here a couple times. 4, 7. I thought I saw something up here may have got hit. The value one may have struck right here, I believe. While Foot Soldier and HP struck down here. Yep, you're correct. He did not. Rachel did enter for 97. Andy still is ahead by 106 right now. Did strike the Neo tank though. 7 health is adequate for a Neo tank for right now with current threats in the field. Does have a tank down there, cleaning some outlying forces. Good picks there. Yeah, Rachel's lack of anti-air down south. She's getting crushed on this flank here. She's down to 23 units the first 36. Rachel really is having big trouble right now. I think she just lost all the momentum down south due to the lack of anti-air. This battlecopter's been just reigning supreme. Andy figured out what an airport was. Get some good damage there. Neo tanks on top of a city. Hyper repair can be brought on in. Neo tank infantry. And commits a base skip. Well, this medium tank will be repaired up quite nicely, so the battlecopter can't really pose a big threat to it anymore. Pops a hyper repair, which gets a bit more in sync, but can't say exactly sure. Up to 116 value. There's a decent number of wounded units in the field, so the hyper repair is not a bad one this time around. Tank, and mech. I mean, Andy does have quite a bit of value advantage, and not to mention day-to-day repairs. She's effectively at 100,000 versus 132. She's about a turn and a half behind. Tank, infantry. Rachel is starting to fall back, still down by 10 units. It's the medium tank once again, and also traps it again. Anti-air gets struck, but it has enough health to contest the battlecopter now. Does have vision of the Neo tanks and keeps this Neo tank in the forest. Very good. Is this tank there? Tank, and recon, or not recon, anti-air. 80,000 versus 143 of day-to-day, so it's effectively 2 turns behind now. Does take the battlecopter. Medium tank falls back up north, but it will be a full restore with our day-to-day. Neo tank parks itself on top of the city. Covering, I think it's all gonna come down to Rachel's next covering fire. If the next covering fire is not great, she may outright lose the game at the current rate. It's an infantry unit twice. mech, artillery, infantry. Does spot the Neo Tank. Of course, Neo Tank is out of range of the Neo Tank. Could advance to the forest. It looks like it'll be a stealth insertion if the Neo Tank advances to the forest. Once again, artillery is in range of the medium tank, but this time's on the other foot, which is not good for Rachel. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and commits another base skip. Covering fire is not available. Neo Tank strikes Neo Tank. Ugh, that's not good for Rachel. It's all can come down to this covering fire, but even then, I think she's lost. Covering fire looks like struck the Neo Tank and Battlecopter once. No, struck the Battlecopter twice. The Battlecopter's at full health. So that means infantry landed here. Value may have landed here. And health, I think it struck the medium tank up here. So I think health here. Get some good hits there. She's starting to equalize down south. Trying to machine gun down that tank. Tank defeat the Neo Tank. But this is going to be a full health Neo Tank with hyper upgrade. Yep, this global repair is probably going to seal the game in favor of Andy. End turn of 87. Andy starts the turn of 114. Gets sent of 128. Restoring quite a bit of health. Wait, no, that was a power. What? Okay, got a power, not superpower. I just heard the music. I was keeping an eye up here thinking, that didn't seem like it raised as much as I thought it would. Then I realized, oh wait, the Neo Tank's at 7 health. So he goes for a regular power, so he's going to try to do a 1-2 punch. It's anti-tier. Battlecopter, infantry, and anti-tier. Insert 147. Rachel starts turn 70. Battlecopter strikes Neo Tank. Neo Tank, infantry. Battlecopter strikes Battlecopter. Mech strikes medium tank. Hyper repair is available once again. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Neo Tank revealed itself right there. Okay, she's going to resign. Does not think of the Battlecopter, so that was a mistake. Recon, tank. I suppose the 3 health Battlecopter's not too big, but a 6 health Battlecopter would be another matter. Okay, using the medium tank forward, get repaired up by hyper repair. Oh, speaking about hyper repair, going for the HQ capture. Medium tank strikes Neo Tank. Probably could take that shot and then use hyper repair. But it looks like HQ capture will happen. Pops another superpower, which struck the HQ twice. I sort of fast forward a little bit, thinking she's going to be knocked out of the game, but she may just out-resign because she has 53 versus 128. Granted, she only probably sees NAA when it comes to value, but still. Excuse me. Yep, that was resigned there. This grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. I very much disagree that Andy's power usage, but he still won pretty handily, honestly. Let's see now. We do Lash versus Jake. This should be interesting. Let's see, I need to adjust the, this. Yep, that seems good. It's a tall map. Yep, that should be good. Greetings everyone, and great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn bottom left side as the Noir Eclipse Lash. We got Lovi. Spawn top right side as the Yellow Comet Jake. We got Neverlocke. And yes, the E is definitely not science. Silent. Science. Silent. Yes, the E does not mean science. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. There's also a seaport here, which I don't even think is even used before a black boat, seeing how short the distances are for everything. I don't even know why there's a seaport there. I mean, if there was shore on this tile here, maybe stuff could be boosted forward, but even then, not really. Got a tank here. Recon reconnoitering the area. Another tank deployed in the field. Jake's tank is here. Is very similar to Lash's tanks on planes. Both will get plus 10% firepower on planes. Lash's, of course, get additional firepower on other properties. Artillery, double infantry. I mean, if the E is silent, then why have it there to begin with? Because so it would be a lock. It needs to be an AE symbol. Can it be the AE symbol? I know for the capital AE symbol, you hold down Alt 1 or 0198, if I remember correctly, for the capital AE. Can't remember what the lowercase AE was. Recon, tank, and infantry. Does Russia have backwards E? How can it be a backwards E? Got a tank wounded, falling on back there. This counter is now being captured up by Jake, but of course it can be interrupted. Lash has not started capturing up this one, but can be. Both players do sort of a cruise on top of the HQ. And does get a nice strike in the recon, knocking it out. Join capture there, 4 capture progress remaining. A likely will be fully captured. This infantry's out of range. Could maybe finish off to these 2 infantry units. Hard to say though. Lash has both players captured their A comm tower, but Lash is about to capture the second one. So that maybe enough firepower to kill off, but we'll need this 3rd infantry to push forward and spot for it. At that point in time, you're sacking 3 infantry to stop the capture of a comm tower for maybe 1 turn. Recon, infantry, battlecopter, and infantry. Tank, and infantry. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. Does the infantry unit there hits this pipe seam down to 50 health. Got a nice core of units here. Lash does have a pretty good flank here. Recon will strike the infantry and hits that one. Hits the capturing squad there. 19 versus 18 income. 1,000 income. This last party appears to be despicably neutral. tank, infantry, and infantry. Or as a medium tank, I should say. I swear, the Nora clips, it makes it hard to see some stuff. Get some good frontline hits there. Jake is pushing forward. I wonder if he goes for a beatdown this turn. Because if he pushes too far forward, he's going to be very vulnerable to a counterattack. After all, there's going to be a tank. He sees now 3 tanks and artillery he's going to be in range of. This is a river tile, so taking out that infantry unit there would result in a clear path to the artillery. Now there's going to be 4 tanks, a battlecopter, and artillery now all ready to shell him. And with him pushing forward, or her forward, then she can also perhaps bring up the anti-air to the battlecopter. Could see a terrain tactics. Will just basically be used if it's +10/+10. It's a recon. Looks like anti-air will not be able to range the battlecopter. We could see a block rock next turn. Can't say it'll be any effective though. We are seeing a block rock. Takes the battlecopter. So we'll come down to +2 movement range. A lot of these units are quite wounded. There's a number of wounded units in front of him. Battlecopter will strike the tank there, plus 40% firepower from attacking from planes. Is actually getting relatively nice there. Tank hits tank. Actually a pretty decent block of rock there, honestly. And instead of 132 versus 95. Prime Tactics does take out the battlecopter, of course. Anti-air takes out tank with plus 2 defense stars. Triple defense stars, or a lot of defense stars there. Minus percentage health. Tank, and infantry. So not super powerful terrain tactics, but of course she gets double defense stars. It's going to be very handy. 0 extra defense stars there. A lot of extra defense stars there, so that infantry unit is taking a bit of a pounding. Finish off some 1 health infantry units. Battlecopter, tank, and double infantry. Yeah, I think it should be, I think terrain tactics, if terrain tactics would be shrunk down, honestly down to 2 stars, or prime tactics gets shrunk down to a total of 6 stars, I think that would probably make Lash a bit more balanced. Because I think prime terrain tactics is also an ability that's rarely ever useful. I mean, it's 4 stars for perfect movement, which is only going to be really useful for wheeled vehicles. Sure, tanks can move perfectly through woods, but they're only generally slow down at most by 1, maybe 2. So if it's just 2 stars, then it'll basically be very, very similar to Adder's power. But not entirely. Where some units are better, some units will be worse. I think 3 stars is too expensive for terrain tactics. I think 2 stars is actually pretty good. Tank, recon, and infantry. Does get some good hits there. Finish off some outlying tanks. Right now, players are still pretty even. Jake has a slight value edge. Takes off some outlying tanks. Finish off that one with Booster Strike. And also now threaten this Contar. And there's not many things that can threaten it. There is a anti-air he can Lash sack. I suppose this infantry's in sprinting range though. Good shots there. Of course, got another block rock available, which may be useful for the battlecopters for the additional firepower on planes. Overall, Lash has a pretty good core amount of armor here, including a medium tank. Lash ends turn of 117. Jake starts turn of 105. But of course, that's his day-to-day, so he's still ahead at the moment. The block rock course has been casted. 10 catch progress remaining on the comm tower. Takes out the anti-air. Battlecopter gets a booster strike on the medium tank and not booster strike there. Booster strike on there. Takes out the infantry unit there. Try to go for the capture. Booster strike on that tank. This tank reinforced kills off that unit there. Booster strike on that tank there. So far, an excellent block rock. Actually using the plane's firepower bonuses quite successfully. Battlecopter, tank, and double infantry. Here's the prime tactics. Jake ended his turn of 120, last start turn of 86, so she's actually pretty far behind at the moment, about 2 turns. Is that tank twice? Does interrupt the capture there, and somehow did not lose his tank. Anti-air does take out the battlecopter, tank hits tank with no defense stars. Tank, infantry, tank. 108. Jake's down to 91 for day to day, so he still has an advantage. This anti-air has 5 health remaining with 16 fuel and 3 ammos. Does get some good shots there. Does win the coin flip. Does finish off the battlecopter with infantry unit there. And another one goes down as well. Lash has been making her units last much longer than I expected. Anti-air artillery infantry and puts beam tank on top of a city. Takes out some of these wounded tanks. Finish off that 6 self tank while at it. Okay, 2 counters will help out with that. Lashes right now at 18,000 versus 20,000 income. Infantry, infantry, and rocket. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. And it's 116, last turn 122, so they're pretty even at the moment. Looks like front lines are being established right around here, so next big conflict's going to be right around here. Lashes have 2 medium tanks. And Jake's trying to do a bit of a front switch, looks like. Recon, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Tank, infantry, infantry. Neo tank, infantry, infantry. Infantry, infantry, and medium tank. Yep, got a mass build up here. Interrupts the capture. Jake still has the capture advantage. The big key difference is the fact he owns these 2 central ones. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry, infantry. Takes out that infantry unit there. Jordan captures here. Medium tank strikes that unit there. It's a recon. Tank in range of the artillery. Rocket moved in to provide this coverage. So Rocket is in a good covering position right now. Medium or Neo tanks now range the rocket. But will the rocket be in range? Block rock's almost available. He's got to dive down the rocket if he wants. Once he spots it, right now it's out of vision range. But getting a good number of picks there. Does spot the rocket there. This infantry unit's on top of a river, so a land vehicle cannot break through this way. But this infantry unit here is an infantry unit on top of a road, so pass can be smashed through. It's the artillery here. Going through the recon on the 1 health. Infantry unit does get picked off, and this tank reaches the rocket there, knocking it out 1 shot. And this is probably the game-ending push for Jake. Lash comparing pop prime tactics, we got 184 versus 120, so she's severely behind. And the front lines has smashed into each other, so she has to make this turn a good turn, or else she will lose. She still has a medium tank here, which could range the Neo tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just needs quite a bit of path opened up. Maybe take out tank and battlecopter there. Or that medium tank goes over here. Anti-air finds battlecopter. Anti-air finds battlecopter. Battlecopter finds tank and as well as infantry. Tank, anti-air, infantry, insert of 136, which evens it out, but Jake still has his day-to-day funds. Now it's the front lines are smashing each other, so both sides are going to be losing some more units. Lash's turn. Does get some picks there. Medium tanks are unable to range the Neo tank. Triple tanks. Neo tank does strike the medium tank, and now the battlecopter softens up the other medium tank. Neo tank is in range of artillery, but it's a 3 health artillery. She might need to pop out terrain tactics just to get extra firepower going. Medium tank does fall back. Medium tank strikes Neo tank, does pop the terrain tactics just before any bit of firepower. Regular tank does finish off Neo tank. Anti-air hits the battlecopter twice. Perfect movement will allow to escape the base force quite easily, but got a block rock available, and Jake starts to still have more value in the field, so this is probably going to game into push. Not to mention, the +1 range of the indirects will be useful this turn, able to strike this medium tank. Not a couple of planes though, but it does take out the medium tank with the artillery piece. Looks like a bit of a clean sweep down south. Lash is taking off a lot of losses so far. Tank, and infantry. Instead of 125,000 for 83. She is severely behind now. Picks a final on user. 1 health anti-air gets trapped, not a big issue. Oh, and Lash does resign there. This grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started with another replay, I just need to use the restroom one last time. Please give me a moment. My apologies, I'm back. And let's go ahead for one last replay for tonight. Oh, howdy. Just saw your comment. What am I thinking? Mine's mush right now. Let's see. We do Andy. I've actually done quite a bit of Andy today, so perhaps not Andy. Yeah, we could do Jess versus Adder. Let's see, just need to adjust the map or the stream. And that should be pretty good. So, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advance Wars by Web replay. So on the north side as the Black Hole Adder, we got Kant Bay. On the south side as, that was a Black Hole Jess. We got Rice Muncher. So on the south side is the Purple Lightning Adder. We got Kant Bay. I'm getting the names mixed up. Yeah, my mind's melted. Made of mush now. Looks like this map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, technically 2 seaports, but that's not going to be important. You also have a black boat sitting on top of the comms tower, but there's plenty of shores for it to move, like there, or way over here. Now have a recon up north by Jess. Triple infantry. Another recon here. So, Jess has gone for double recon. I'm for the reconnoiter area. And Adder goes for an early artillery piece, maybe trying to barrage down this pipe seam. This map can potentially support pipe runners right here, though the coverage won't be great, so I'm not sure what real purpose they would have. I'm assuming pipe runners are not banned. Nope, pipe runners could be used. Doesn't mean they should be used. Pipe runner, can they range the comm tower? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. We got a recon and another recon by Adder. Just goes for Earl, artillery as well. So both players have gone for double recon artillery. There's the first tank by Jess. Adder's recon does get the first strike. Pipe seam being barraged down. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Jess's battlecopters only have minus 10% firepower, which is manageable. Got comm towers on the map to help recover their firepower. Another tank, American infantry. Adder could go for another battlecopter this turn. And the pipe seam does get destroyed. Battlecopter, pair of infantry, triple infantry. So Adder's gone for double battlecopter. Jess has not yet got an anti-air on the field. She will need to go for one prob this turn. Jenny will go for an anti-air no later than turn 10. Anti-air, tank, and infantry. And the anti-air is in the back base, so it's going to be a bit hard to get on forward. Tank, infantry. Infantry, recon, and battlecopter. Infantry unit here does get struck. Recon got repaired up a little bit and it's turned on top of the city. Recon up here got struck and gets finished off there. Right now, both players have 2 comm towers. These comm towers can easily be flipped. You have to get a lander over here to get some heavier assets of that region. Of course, they can always cross this fjord to this part here, but that probably won't go too great. Recon does get picked off here by the tank and, of course, the recon. No tank or battlecopter nearby to retaliate against this region. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and infantry. It's that infantry unit twice. Infantry, battlecopter, and anti-air. Jess has gone for 2 battlecopters so far. It's just capturing infantry unit there. Battlecopter still has a bit of free range, but we do now the anti-air push its way forward. And out of vision range, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if the battlecopter will take a strike from this tile here under the 6th infantry, it will be safe enough. You can count tiles to see how far forward a battle or anti-air could be. Does get some shots there, but looks like battlecopter may be safe. And nope, that one's not safe at all. That one's getting shot down. Adder now has his power available. We got double tank here by Jess as well. Got tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Battlecopter gets shot down. Battlecopter base gets knocked out. Jess has her power available. Adder almost has a superpower available. Which also implies Adder's taking more losses so far this game since his power charge is much higher. Neo tank double infantry. 112 versus 139 with day-to-day funds are still pretty even. Adder may have a slight advantage. Also has 20,000 funds, so has a bit of a float. Maybe he's going for bomber. Maybe he's going for a neo tank. I doubt it's going to be for a mega tank. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and tank. Takes the pipe seam. Does not take the battlecopter there. Takes that infantry unit up north. Recon could perhaps get a shot onto that anti-air, but won't really accomplish something much. Oh, got a power activated there. Maybe trying to intercept this artillery there. Yes, she does. Man strike this tank while at as well, getting a lot of good hits this turn. And got a side slip in return, which will help these battlecopters get to the front line. There's some outlying units there. Tank does hit tank. Battlecopter hits tank. Infantry hits tank, or infantry. This infantry there allows the anti-air to slip around and side slip around to the battlecopter. We'll be losing that tank to the artillery though. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Get some good hits down south, but it feels like Jess in a much better position. Picks up the anti-air, hits the infantry unit. Battlecopter, tank, and recon. Side slip activated once again. Going for 1-2 punch for the powers. And the recon did 0 damage to that anti-air. I thought it would at least do 1 damage. Finish off that tank. Anti-air, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Tank does hit the tank. Anti-air hits the battlecopter. Battlecopter hits tank. Got other battlecopters nearby. Jess is pretty close to her superpower, but honestly, her power is probably generally all she needs. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Oh, black boat sunk. Looks like the black boat was actually out of fuel. Tank hits the anti-air twice. Battlecopter hits that battlecopter. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Does get some good shots down here. A lot of good stairs. Bit of a clean sweep down south so far. Last, or just at 140, 165 is 94. Of course, it's Adder's day to day, which is actually a little bit high. 36,000, so you may be going for a stealth or mega tank. Hard to say. Trying to go for this comm tower. Both players at 2 at the moment. But it looks like Adder will be kept in this comm tower up north. A bomber probably would be pretty nice for Adder right now. Battleship, actually. Trying to lock down this flank with Battleship. Can move forward 1 tile, but that's about it. But that's actually just it. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and infantry. Battleship can interrupt this capture. We'll be interrupting that capture. ATR does take up the battlecopter up north. Battlecopter hits this Neo tank twice. Neo tank double infantry. Does take up the anti-air, gives a good shot on the infantry unit there and knocks out the recon. Hits the infantry down south and takes the battlecopter, but we do have this. Oh, there's Neo tank hitting that anti-air. Hits the battlecopter there and finish off the anti-air while at it. Can engage the battlecopter with his own battlecopter. Vision's another matter though, but he does have enough for a side slip as well as almost enough for a side winder. Battleship reaches the edge of the sea. Was going to be using it as cover to help stabilize the northern flank. Tank gets a good shot at the anti-air. Battlecopter strikes the Neo tank twice, but does not knock it out. Black Bolt can take time to repair up that 7 health battlecopter, I would say. Did not infantry, battlecopter, tank, and anti-air. Turbocharge now activated. Powered by Jess. Falls back to the Neo tank. Captures up, starting to catch the comm tower, which Adder does have 3 comm towers at the moment. Some good shots there. And with a power, he's able to interrupt the capture by sending this infantry unit to one of these shores and hitting it. Battlecopter, tank, double infantry. Power activated by Adder. Interrupts the capture of the comm tower, interrupts it again. Did not use one off tank to finish it off. Neo tank hits regular tank. Infantry does sprint up north, interrupts that capture. Battleship moves a little bit to the west. Approximately 1 nautical mile, I'm guessing. Would a tile be 1 mile? Yes or no? And it looks like fully surrounded this comm tower this time. This time comm tower is going to be captured up. And if I had to lose both of those comm towers, I think it's going to be a pretty decisive game over for him. Battleship so far has gotten 0 kills. Stuff out of vision range. Neo tank is a good shot there. It only has a bit of bombardment there on that infantry unit there. The battleship was overall not worth it. Anti-air battlecopter tank. Capture up 2 comm towers this turn. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and tank. Jess has activated her power now. New tank does get some good shots there. Battlecopter strikes battleship for 3 points of damage. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a clean sweep against Adder. Anti-air, anti-air, and infantry. Hits the tank as tank hits battleship as well, and Adder does resign there. That's Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight. So everyone, thank you for watching.